Welcome to Sunday Night Prime Time. We'll get our first look at Matthew Stafford as a Ram, taking on a familiar foe in the Chicago Bears. It's the close of football on this opening Sunday, and it comes your way next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight, it's the Sunday night opener for the new NFL season between the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. So happy to be with you to kick off this much-anticipated 2021 season. With me in the booth as we begin our sixth season together is, of course, Charles Davis. And CD, so much to watch for coming up. What are you keeping an eye on?
Well, Brandon, I'm ecstatic to be back with you, of course, and we've got a good one right here out of the gates. I'm interested in seeing some of the changes in 2021. Running backs and wideouts, even linebackers wearing single-digit numbers. But even more than that, I want to see the changes defenses have made, because last year we averaged 49.6 points per game. That's the highest ever by 3 full points. Can these defenses make an adjustment and start to catch up?
Yeah, passer rating, CD, an all-time high. Completion percentage also an all-time high. So as you said, will those numbers continue to climb northward, or will the defenses adjust? And no run back on this one, so the new season will begin at the 25-yard line. Rams taking the field, ready for their first offensive series, and led out by their new starter for 2021 in his now 13th season in the National Football League, Matthew Stafford.
And what big news it was back in January when news leaked out that Matthew Stafford was leaving Detroit and heading out west to join the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are hoping he's the missing piece to the puzzle as they seek a Super Bowl title. Over 45,000 yards passing as a Lion, but not a single playoff victory in his entire tenure. The Rams general manager has said he can envision Stafford staying 5 to 8 years, which would take him into his 40s.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. Now the first carry for Cam Akers.
Quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
They'll run here with Akers. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down. Charles, a look there at the Bears draft class for 2021. A lot of guys there that will wind up contributors. I think you agree with that. But this draft, ultimately, it's going to come down to one question. Was Justin Fields the right choice or not?
And a bold move the Bears made, moving up from number 20 to number 11 to get him. Not a huge jump, but still a striking play by them. And definitely a splashy pick for this team, and they have to hit a home run to the quarterback position. Only one other draft pick on day 2, and that was Tevin Jenkins, the big offensive tackle from Oklahoma State, who some had pegged in the 1st round. I thought he was going to go to the Indianapolis Colts in that spot.
Throwing on 3rd down, Stafford. He'll check this down to Akers out of the backfield. And he is going to have a Rams first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. So defensively here, you've got Matt Stafford at quarterback. Now, we know he's been in the league a long time, but still getting accustomed to playing in a Rams uniform. So what's your biggest key to stopping him?
But normally you would say with any quarterback, it's pressure. Number of hits on him in the pocket.
Now the ball comes loose, and this is picked up by the Bears. Bears offense making their way out now for the first drive with Justin Fields, the rookie from Ohio State, at quarterback.
And just a few years after the Bears made a big move at quarterback, taking Mitchell Trubisky, they did it again this year, moving from number 20 to number 11 in the draft to select Justin Fields out of Ohio State. This offense was just 26 in total yardage last year, so they needed some production. Justin Fields, 63 touchdown passes his last 2 years at Ohio State. They're expecting him to be their guy for the future.
They will get 4 yards here on the first down run, and that'll make it 2nd and 6.
If you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
From the 40 now on 2nd down. Fields. This one swung out to Montgomery. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. Well, there you go, Charles, the first completed pass of his young career.
And we expect it not to be his last. Very good to get the first one out of the way, though, as he begins his career.
On 1st and 10, here's Fields. Well, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Here's 2nd and 10. Now it's Fields. Flushed out right. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Throwing again is Fields. Forced out to his left. This is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Graham. 29 yards. And the Bears are on the board here first in the season opener.
As a general rule, quarterbacks don't want to lock in on a receiver before the ball is snapped. But in this case, based on the matchup he thought he was going to get, it was favorable for his tight end. He locked in on him early and found him for a touchdown.
Cairo Santos on to try the extra point. And he's got it to make it 7-0 in favor of the Bears. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And the end result is a Bears touchdown.
Cairo Santos to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. Oh, the return is Brandon Powell. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. So the Rams coming back onto the field, their 2nd drive of the game. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard, had a drive going, had pushed it past the 50-yard line, so they thought they were in striking distance, and to come away with nothing, not a good feeling at all, to put it mildly. Now they can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, now can they get that pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. Alec Ogletree, he's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest ones, maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
They'll run out of the gun with Akers. And not a whole lot to speak of there, as they'll bring him down shy of the 20. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long. To throw is Stafford. He'll get this to Akers out of the backfield. And they're going to get him down well short of the 1st, as he can only get this to the 30. It's a gain of 11, but they're still well short. It's 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the 1st down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle. So on 4th down, here's Johnny Hecker to punt it away. Back
Jakeem Grant. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Bears take over. Chicago works their way back onto the field here for their second drive of the game. They were successful last time finding the end zone on their opening drive of the season. And they'll get another shot here with a 1st and 10. To Montgomery to begin the drive. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field in the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling and usually between run and pass. But in this case, with strictly the run game, you can be creative there as well. Run it inside, run it outside, keep the defense off balance. And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
1st down, here's the run with Montgomery. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. After 7-0 on EA Sports. The Bears with the football. We get set to begin quarter number 2 as they are looking at a 2nd and 5 situation. They'll roll him out right. And that'll be incomplete.
That was an interesting look there because as soon as he got outside the pocket, I thought he was going to take off and run for yardage. But what often happens now with these quarterbacks who can move, defenses want to try and keep bodies in front of them, and I think that discouraged him from taking off and made him try a pass downfield that fell incomplete.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Fields. The connection made. It's Graham. And he's got a 1st down as he's up to the 48.
It's a gain of 6.
Another completion there, and you think about the draft back in the spring. He's selected in the 1st round, getting the start here, as we mentioned in week 1. It's got to be quite a whirlwind for a young quarterback.
Absolutely, because going in the 1st round, people are going to clamor for you to be the starter right away, but many teams want you to get your feet wet first, maybe just kind of hang out behind a veteran starter. In this case, though, he ascended right to the top roll, and I know he's excited about the opportunity.
On 1st down, Fields. Eluding the pressure right. On the run, he'll let it go deep, right sideline. And that is incomplete. So, CD, big changes for 2021. Of course, last year we had the expansion from 6 to 7 teams in each conference making the playoffs. This year, the headline, the addition of a 17th regular season game. What did you think when you heard the news that this was happening?
Well, my first thought, partner, was finally, because we've heard about a 17th game coming for a long time, and now here it is. So the beautiful part about all of it is that 17th game is going to be like these interdivision, interconference type games that are going to match up and play out over a 4-year period. And that's kind of cool. And I was looking forward to seeing some of the matchups that were going to come out of that for that 17th game. And could that be the game that decides a bunch of division titles?
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Fields. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Leonard Floyd, the old Georgia Bulldog, finding his way into the backfield. Another try after the 1st down sack. Fields escaping the pressure right. And Graham's got it. Complete. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. Another completion there, and what a big moment in a young quarterback's life, that first NFL start. And Charles, obviously they want him to win games, but if they're looking at him under a microscope in this first month or so, what do you think they're hoping to see from him?
Well, for every question they'll have for him, they should have for themselves as a coaching staff, because it's not just how quickly can he learn the offense, is what they can teach him, right? How can he build a relationship with his receivers? And, of course, how open is he to learning? And, of course, how open are they to giving him things that he can put in place on the field?
A big connection on that one. 32 yards. Well, if you pull up his college highlight reel, you will see no shortage of great throws, and here's one in his NFL debut for big yardage.
And this is going to be a big test early in his career. How accurate can he be on throws like this? If he keeps doing that, he's going to be just fine.
So another third down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. Back to throw, Fields. And he's got his man. That's Robinson. Touchdown, Bears. A 1-yard touchdown pass. And the Bears will add on to their lead. So a good start to the campaign so far for them here in week 1.
Yeah, all the things that you dreamed about in April and May and that you worked on in July and August, getting ready for this game, it's all coming together so far.
Now the point after try for Santos. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that drive, 12 plays in length, and it culminates in a touchdown for Chicago.
Santos to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And not willing to risk another fumble. He'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. Now the Rams offense, they work their way back on the field. And it's been a rocky start for them thus far. They had the turnover and then the punt on those first 2 drives.
So there is optimism because they've improved, right? Turnover, you just noted it on the first drive.
Punt's better than the turnover.
The punt is better on the second one. Now they're hoping to turn into first downs and hopefully points.
Now a first down throw, Stafford. And this one is incomplete.
As defensive coordinators around the league tell me all the time, that throw is not for every quarterback because you've really got to drive the ball downfield. It's going to be a tight window for him to fit that one into. In this case, unsuccessfully.
Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
We remind you that coming up at the half, we'll hand things off to Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have scores from earlier today, plus a look ahead as well, so you won't want to miss that. A lot going on here in week 1. And this will not get close to the first down marker as he's brought down at the 26. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Call that a 44-yard punt, 5 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And here back onto the field comes Jimmy Graham. And some of his highlights here from this game, he's nearing 100 yards, partner.
And defensive have worked so hard at how to try to slow down tight ends. It was a lot easier, partner, in the old days because when they just lined up on the line of scrimmage, you either put a defensive end or a linebacker over them and tried to body them so they couldn't get off the line of scrimmage easy.
And now?
Now, when they split out, detach from the line of scrimmage, you put a linebacker out there, they're often too elusive for them, shake them and get into the secondary too easily before someone else can try and pick them up.
And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Now a first down throw, Fields. Flush to his right. Oh, he just needed to throw it away, but instead, out of bounds he goes, and that's a sack. That's going to go as a loss of a full 8 yards. It sets him back for second down. Out of the gun, Fields. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And now the Rams have got it, going the other way. And he is going to bring this back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. We know he's got the speed to get downfield, Charles, but there's the negative side. A little loose with the football that time.
And that's normal, especially when you have his type of talents, because you feel like you're into the open field and maybe you don't feel the people who are around you or closing in. All quarterbacks have to do extra ball security drills with the way the game's played now, because defenses, they attack the football as much as they attack the runner.
7 yards, the pickup there.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
They'll set up the screen here to Akers. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. The Bears bring out an extra defender in the secondary now for third down.
Let's go deep, tighten up.
Here's Stafford. The quick slant caught. And the Rams are going to be set up with a 1st and goal as they get the conversion there on 3rd and inches. So even though it's first down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. From the right hash at a bit of a tight angle. Gay's kick is good. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So they do get the 3 points before they hit halftime. Something to build on, maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and raise the banner, right? Wave the flag. That's good. Got points. And now, as you said, they've got something to build on as they get ready for the second half.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. A final shot before the break. Fields steps away to his left. And he gets this up to the 34 out of bounds there. So we've reached halftime here in our initial Sunday night telecast of the new season. As we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach?
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome in, everyone, to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Let's get you caught up on what's going on around the NFL. We'll start over at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, where it was the visiting Cowboys who got the win on the road. Dak Prescott with 3 touchdown passes in the Week 1 victory. From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And it was the visiting Jacksonville Jaguars that go home with the victory. Trevor Lawrence with 3 touchdown passes in the Week 1 victory. And finally, on Monday Night Football, we'll have fans at Allegiant Stadium for the very first time. What a night it'll be. Ravens, Raiders, live from Las Vegas. Moving on, let's take a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for the Bears. And even though they've got the big cushion, I would imagine they'd like to see a little more out of their passing game. Pretty pedestrian numbers through 2 quarters of play. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they did not have quite the same amount of success in the passing game that their counterparts did, as you get a look at the numbers there. It's a new season, so both of these coaching staffs likely making plenty of adjustments after that first half of football. So for the call of the second half here in Week 1, we go back to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Fine work as always as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. We'll see if Week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21. So here's the Bears offense now as they get set to start this third quarter. And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line could play a little bit better.
And I think they'll try and help him out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation to pick up those pass rushers because they probably allowed a few too many sacks for comfort in the first half.
A throw left side to start the drive is complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Fields. They'll set up the screen to Montgomery. The first down screen pass, good for 5.
Boy, that was certainly well-read defensively. And the key to any screenplay is space to work. And there was none to be found there. And they tackle it for just a short gain.
To throw again on 2nd down. Fields throwing the out route incomplete. It's Robinson. A nice completion there for the first down. And, Charles, you think about the quarterbacks of recent vintage that have been thrust into action week 1. It's no guarantee of future success, but we sure have seen some good ones.
We certainly have, partner. How about Joe Burrow with the Bengals in 2020? He was excellent. Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. The best part about his game, has his team right on the brink of the playoffs. And Deshaun Watson has won division titles after having started from day 1.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Fields. He'll leave it for Montgomery complete. It'll be a gain of 5, and that'll make it 3rd and 1.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense. Each team has its own terminology. Some people call it jumbo, some call it monster, some call it king. But it doesn't really matter. They brought in the big lumber to pick up that first down.
Yeah, you think about goal line defense with the goal line offense that time getting it done. Fields throw complete here to Kmet. And he's going to get this inside the 30.
Here we go.
A gain of 16 yards.
And 2021 in the draft, the first tight end off the board, Florida's Kyle Pitts at number 4 to Atlanta. The first tight end taken in 2020 was this guy, Cole Kmet, number 43 overall. Really started to come on late last season. A good grab there for a first down.
Don't stop that.
A play fake, now Fields to throw. Sliding out of the pocket. That's going to be caught. Touchdown, Bears. Allen Robinson. Already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Bears are looking good here in the season opener as they're able to extend their lead.
And remember, partner, that's a rookie quarterback back there. Apparently, he's getting the hang of this NFL thing pretty quickly.
Had 3 touchdown passes. You're right, he looks comfortable. What are they doing? Anything in particular?
Well, they keep talking about making sure they're giving him plays that fit his talents and also maybe shrinking the playbook a little bit. They did tell us that. Bottom line, he's really good.
Santos with the extra point, and the lead is up to 18 now.
Cairo Santos kicking off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And not willing to risk another fumble. He'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. Out come the Rams. They'll have it first here to begin the 3rd quarter. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. He can rack up those tackles in bunches in the run game from that middle linebacker spot.
And what he has to do is make sure he congratulates the guys in front and tells them thanks a lot, because as the guy in the middle, the Mike linebacker, you're counting on your front 3, your front 4, your front 5, whatever you've got in front of you to take up all the blocking, allow you to roam and hit, and that's what he did on that play. Oh, we're always talking about the athleticism we see from these guys on the field. How about the intelligence as well? He recognized that there was a screen pass on that one, broke off his pass rush, and got back to tackle the running back. That's great scouting and great reaction.
Now Stafford. That's out to the flat for Akers. That's going to bring up 4th down, only a gain of 2 there. Here's Johnny Hacker now as he's on to punt for L.A. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. It's a 43-yard punt, a return of 5, and possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Here's the Chicago offense coming back out onto the field. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
On 1st down, it's Fields. Throw left side, complete. That's Montgomery. So the completion good for 7 there, and it'll bring up a 2nd down.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And the Rams defense gets to him again behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on 3rd down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
Open man is Kmet, the tight end. And he will have the Bears 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Let's go.
A nice throw there. We've seen a lot of those from this young man. How would you assess, Charles, his first start thus far?
I think it's been everything that they could have asked for because he's handled all the basic things quite well. And even some of the wrinkles that have been thrown at him, he's shown a lot of poise throughout and made some nice plays.
Flushed out right. It's caught on the right side by Robinson. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A big play that time on the catch and run.
Well, he reminded us that he was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago as he starts off week 1 picking up right where he left off. He told us at the end of the preseason he was primed for a big year. He just gave us excellent evidence of his belief.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Rolling to his left. And this is intercepted, but they'll say out of bounds. So very close to a turnover there in the end zone.
They're certainly not letting up on the pressure in this one, and oftentimes you hear this expression, all gas, no break from defenses. But in this case, it's the offense still throwing the football up big in the 4th quarter.
And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And the Bears are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the 4th, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and go like turtle at this point. You can just go ahead and play.
In the slot on the right is Graham. To throw is Fields. Out. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Aaron Donald, that is one he will remember. It's sack number 85 of his great career, moving him past Hall of Famer Howie Long on the all-time list. On 2nd and goal, Fields eluding the pressure right. Shoves him aside, and he'll get this down inside the 5 to the 4 before he's out of bounds. The offense on 3rd down can't be any better than a perfect 6 for 6. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. Being chased out left to the end zone, but it's incomplete.
They really had a good drive going there, but a nice recovery by the defense these past few downs, able to knock that one away on 3rd down and bring up what I think for the offense, an unexpected 4th down here.
I guess not content to get another 3 here late. They'll try to add 6 more as they go on 4th and goal. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with a football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. He had 3 touchdowns already, but won't get a 4th here. And this Rams defense comes up with a goal line stand. Set to begin their next drive, the Rams offense at the line. And whatever promise they showed in the preseason has not translated into week 1 because they have not been particularly competitive here at home, no less. So these fans just kind of beside themselves right now. A good run there on 1st down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2.
It's a gain of 8. Brings up 2nd and 2.
Right, 58, right there. Watch the screen. 53.
Now Stafford. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Powell.
I think that's a big pickup for a 1st down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a 1st down. Executed it to perfection. Stafford hooking up with Akers. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44.
It's a gain of 14 yards. That's good for the Rams.
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Rams football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On 1st down, it's Stafford. He'll get this into the hands of Van Jefferson. Touchdown, L.A. Van Jefferson, 56 yards. And the Rams are finally into the end zone here in this 4th quarter. Well, fair to say that when you're looking at guys that can run like the wind, you often find him at the wide receiver position, and that was special there.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards. So just give me a second here because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
Extra point by Gay is up and good. And that'll make this now an 11-point deficit. Two scores down, 3 timeouts left. Still a chance if they can somehow get this one back. And the Bears hands team able to pounce on it and get the football. They knew they needed a miracle. They had to have that onside kick. They didn't get it.
Well, as we knew, even before they put the toe to the leather on that one, their chances of getting that done, slim and none. And I do believe we saw Slim just leave the door, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think we're down to none. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. Dancing to his left. And Graham on the grab. And all the way down to the 9. The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. That one looks like he'll throw here. Escaping the pressure right. And he is in. Touchdown, Chicago. Justin Fields. A 9-yard touchdown run. And the Bears are closing in on a winning start to the year as they extend their 4th quarter lead. We saw so much of this last year at the college level, but there you go. His first rushing touchdown as an NFL quarterback.
And with the speed he has, we certainly know it won't be his last because that's something that aided him very well, as you mentioned, at the college level. It's something he's going to carry over, and they'll make it a big part of their offense.
Santos able to tack on the extra point, and the lead is up to 18 now.
Santos to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And not willing to risk another fumble. He'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. And no doubt this is not the way that they had hoped to open their season. Thoroughly outplayed here in front of the national audience.
Watch the slant. Watch the slant. 44's the mic.
Stafford on first down. He'll get this to Akers out of the backfield. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And this is incomplete. Oh, it looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in. So the failure to connect on second down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Now it's Stafford. Got an open man finding Jefferson. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
Well, I can put my defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion. Sometimes when you're trying not to give up bigger plays, you don't...
Oh, a hit. He lost the football. Stafford puts it on the ground, and this is picked up by the Bears. And they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line.
All right, you've had to put up with me in this booth. I'm going to try and be simple this time and succinct. It simply has not been their night.
No, I think that fumble's kind of indicative of how this whole evening's gone, isn't it?
Without a doubt. I mean, they've tried, but nothing has ever really taken throughout the game. That's why they're down so big.
Following the fumble recovery, Fields buying time to his left. Touchdown! Jimmy Graham! Already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Bears use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. So this looking more and more like it is going to be a successful kickoff to their campaign as they add on here.
And partner, you know NFL coaches, they're on the sideline thinking about all the little things that need correcting. But for the most part, they've got to be ecstatic with the way this season has started out.
Santos with the extra point, and they open the lead up now to 25.
Cairo Santos kicking off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And not willing to risk another fumble, he'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. Matthew Stafford and the rest of the Rams offense set to take over once more. And after the slow start, the numbers show he has really straightened things out. How often sometimes is that you come into a game and the defense is game planned a little differently than you expected?
More often than maybe people realize, so adjustments are often a big part of each and every game, and it's not just getting to halftime. It's series to series to make it work, and being able to hang in there when there's a little adversity early and see them able to flip it around, it's kind of gratifying for a team to watch, especially for a coach.
A gain of 6 there on first. Now the Rams will signal for a timeout, their 2nd. As they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Stafford. That's complete to his running back, Jefferson. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Stafford going to give this to Akers. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The Rams going to be forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with an even 20 seconds left to go. From the 39, Stafford. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Stafford going to give to Akers on the draw. And they stop him up short of the 1st down as they get him at about the 43. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th down. So this one in the win column for the Chicago Bears, and they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half to put this one on ice.
And I know a lot of people watching this one were thinking to themselves, I bet halftime was really interesting. Probably took the paint off the walls with some of the words that were said. But I get the sense that it was much more of the adjustments they made. They came in with a game plan that we saw that didn't work in the first half. They made the adjustments necessary, went away from that, and then they got it together, got a spark, and then took off. It's really nice to watch in the second half.
So for the Bears, it's a victory for Justin Fields in his debut at quarterback. And they'll return home next week to take on the Cincinnati Bengals.